Anaheim back to Illesheim, and we're passing. And I always tell this in our presentation we do that it wasn't Kitzingen. Where was it? Oh God, Nuremberg. In the 1800s in Nuremberg, for those that know their UFO history, there was a very, very large. I mean, hundreds of people saw orbs all over the sky. It was like a firefight between UFOs. And Nuremberg is about 45 minutes from where I was. So
yes, that's a very famous woodcutting of a UFO event all over the sky.
It is. And, when I first saw that, because I didn't see that woodcut until I'd already seen my UFO, and it was a perfect replica of what I saw over Bad Windsheim. And we were only like 45 minutes from Nuremberg, so it's the same sky, when you look at the sky area.
Yeah. Wow.
So that particular craft is actually famous. Now, what race flies that one? I don't know. That'd be an R. Keith question. And speaking of R. Keith, for our new listeners that don't know who R. Keith Andrews is, he is our alien race specialist on the team. Has his own show on Spaced Out Radio. He's on S-4 every week. And he had a stroke back on the 27th of December. He's going to be back with us, hopefully, if everything works out right, next week. He's working on his speech. He's working on his auto system. So he's going through therapy and whatnot right now, getting back on track, and he'll hopefully be with us next week.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I'm so glad that he survived that. My gosh.
Yeah, we all are. Now, moving on to winter preparation. By now we've been in the winter months. Well, technically the cold spell started. You figure about November. Winter officially started December, but by October is when people should have already, wrapped up their faucets and put heat lamps on their water pumps and things of that nature. So we're not really going to hit that side of it so much as we are the emergency side. And I know, Cole, you wanted to bring up the car safety and the if you could go ahead and bring up what should you put in your car before you travel in the snow and during the winter months.
Okay, so the first thing. It's not just about what you put in your car, it's what you put on and how you prep your car. So the first thing everyone should think about is winter tires. Just because a company is selling you winter tires doesn't mean that they are actually a decent winter tire. Every winter tire you buy should have what is now called the mountain snowflake symbol. So it is a three-peak mountain with a snowflake inside of it. Whether the tire says M+S on it, which means mud and snow acceptable, that is still not the greatest winter tire you can get. That symbol means that tire is rated for the most extreme weather that most of our areas can throw at you. Winter tire, a true winter tire, has a softer rubber on it and has more sights, which means more traction on ice. So that is the first thing everyone should do, is you should have two sets of tires for every vehicle you own. One for winter, one for summer. And you should change those at an appropriate time. For us here in concrete, that appropriate time would have been October. And then the appropriate time to change back is about mid-March, April. Within the vehicles itself, everyone should have at least an ice scraper and a snow brush, a shovel, a blanket, flashlight, reflectors or flares, some type of rock salt, sand, or kitty litter to help yourself if you get stuck off the side of the road. If you do hit the side of the road, it allows your vehicle to get traction if you put it underneath it. Some type of first aid kit. extra windshield washer fluid, and that one I can attest to. I did a 13-hour trip back home to Canada, and I had to stop 4 times to refill my windshield washer fluid. It was just insane. Some type of chain or rope, definitely your cell phone, which that one really no one needs to worry about because no one leaves the house without it anymore. A basic toolkit, jumper cables, and some type of water and non-perishable food to keep yourself, if you do get stuck to the point where you can't get out. Those are all good things to keep in the back trunk of your car, or most vehicles have a little cubby hole that you can keep those items in.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I would suggest is for winter cars, or for cars that where we do have winter, even if it's only 2 weeks sometimes like we get here where we get a real winter. A block heater is always a good idea. In most areas that do get a fairly decent winter, they are normal in cars. So like they are they are put in by the manufacturer, but here in the United States, like in Washington, I've noticed that no vehicles have block heaters inside of them. A block heater is a small heating element attached to a 110-volt line, so a house line, that you plug into your home through by extension cord, and it heats the coolant within your engine. This allows your vehicle to start more quickly in the morning and allows it to actually run better while you're driving in the winter, because most vehicles, if they start to sputter or backfire while you are driving in the winter and while you're driving on ice, they will actually you will lose control just from a backfire. That is enough pressure coming out of that exhaust to push you off the road if it's icy enough. Those are the 3 basic things that I would do for anyone traveling, for anyone even just going to the store and back. It is a good idea to have those things in your car and to have those things on your car.
And I would like to add, you know what I put in our truck. Our truck's got a trauma kit. It's got about a 6-foot pry bar. So having a fire department background, having a search and rescue background, I usually pack a 24 to 48-hour pack, as well as a trauma kit that's pretty extensive. I suggest a 24-hour pack because of the fact that, you know, in a good winter 24-hour pack, you've got those foot warmers, those hand warmers, gloves. I've got more extensive winter gear than normal, just from Army. So I've got my Gore-Tex, my wet weather gear, things of that nature. I wouldn't say a generator, but a generator would be good too.
Well, no, like honestly, being up, like living up in Canada where we did, I'm from the Alberta prairies, and we were a snowmobiling family. So every one of us had jackets that were rated for -40, snow pants that were rated for -50, gloves, hats, everything that we needed. And all of that came anytime we went on even an hour trip. All of those were loaded in the back of the truck.
Right.
All of our snowmobile bags, we made sure everything was in there. That way, you don't know how long you're going to be stuck up there.
Mm-hmm.
When you get hit on the side of the road, AAA can take hours if you have AAA.
And I've got to say, if you get stuck, stay with your vehicle. You know, I'm reminded of, oh God, I can't remember how many years ago, but there's a family that went, and they were on the 101 along the coast, and they got stuck on a Forestry Service road. They would have been found. The family was fine, but the husband decided he was going to go for help. They never found him. They did find him, but he was deceased. Like, they found him 2 or 3 days later. I believe he was going the wrong direction. Had he stayed with the vehicle, they would have found him like 2 or 3 hours later. So if you get stuck, stay with the vehicle.
Absolutely.
So
Can I
think.
talk?
Go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, can I pop in with some crazy information that I actually read today?
Sure.
In regards to like the heavy winds that we've experienced on the coast. So I actually read an article that the Washington State-based Coast Guard spent over 600 hours in December rescuing unmanned vessels that actually came unmoored from areas along the shore. These were wind-blown vessels that made it out to sea, and then they were reported as abandoned and possibly people overboard.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard of that happening.
Yes, actually, Skagit Breaking aired the article, but it is a PSA put out by the Coast Guard. So what they are asking people to do is pay attention to weather patterns. If NOAA is releasing a winter weather advisory or a strong wind warning, what they're recommending is if you've got 2 lashings mooring your vessel, put 4. An anchor isn't going to suffice, and with unregistered vessels such as canoes and kayaks, it would be prudent to put 2 forms of contact information attached to the boat, because you don't have to register them and have that vessel number. So what they are asking is if you can put on, get those little address stickers and actually put your phone number on there or your address. That way, if your boat does get wind drifted out into the sound or into the middle of the lake and they think you're overboard, at least they have a point of contact. That way they don't have to send Coast Guard divers or anything into the water and verify whether or not there is a body.
Right, and that puts them more at risk.
Yeah, but because you guys were saying leave the vessels, I'm sitting there going, or leave the vehicles, I thought unmanned vessels, and I just had to say that before the subject changed or before I forgot it. So there you go, a PSA from our Coast Guard, and they want to make sure you guys are paying attention if you are boat owners or even have a recreational kayak of sorts. Identify it somehow. That way it's not wasting man hours for frivolous searches because it blew away in the wind.
And I've got to say, and I hate saying this, but don't go to NOAA, go to the National Weather Service, because due to the government shutdown, NOAA is no longer updating.
I'm just imagining that phone call. Have you gone overboard, sir? I don't think so.
Right? I'm still here. Yeah. No, I'm in Florida basking in the sun. I don't know where my boat is. Well, it's capsized on the beach, but yeah. So I think we've covered now real quick too. In the October time frame, in the Army, we always added coolant to our vehicles to a rating of -30. That was the Humvees, the 5 tons. Army trucks are always at a -30. I would recommend you add, engine's an engine. So -30 is not going to hurt your civilian vehicle. So I would suggest you add to and you can get these test strips from AutoZone or any automotive store, that you just dip it into the radiator and you make sure it's a -30 rating. That's, it probably is higher for Alaska.
Well, there is a new coolant out there that's called Prestige, and it is rated for -35, and then it's also rated for like 90 degrees almost. Like this stuff is great for both winter and summer. It is an all-year coolant.
Okay. And that sounds good. Just don't want folks to not put coolant in and just put straight water and have their, engine crack, their block crack. Not good. Expensive.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've got something else. Since I don't know if you guys have already covered this or not, I have a portable, it's called a portable power pack or a portable charge station, and I paid $90 for it at a big box